On September 10th, social media lit up with reports that a Su-30 SM fighter jet from Russia's 43rd Naval Assault Regiment went missing over the Black Sea. Russian forces initiated a search operation only to find a bit of oil slick in a small piece of the wing. While some speculated that a Ukrainian F-16 shot down the aircraft on September 11th, Ukraine's military intelligence bureau released a video that seems it was actually taken down by Ukrainian Special Forces using a portable air defense missile. The video released by Kursk shows a Su-30 SM diving for an attack targeted by a missile for dozens of seconds. In the targeting footage, there's even a 1-second glimpse of Kursk's Willard-class fast boat. Moments later, the missile strikes the Su-30 SM with precision, turning the jet into a fireball as it crashes into the sea. However, Kursk has not disclosed any losses suffered by their elite forces in this operation. Behind this event lies a meticulously planned operation on September 9th. The Kursk launched a raid on the Russian Crim 2 offshore platform using 14 new Cessna-made Willard-class speedboats. As usual, the Russian military responded with fighter jets and helicopters. Russia later claimed to have sunk 8 boats and killed 80 Ukrainian soldiers. However, these numbers might be exaggerated, as video footage shows Russian fighter bombers using unguided rockets or 30mm cannons, which are not particularly effective against fast-moving boats. Nevertheless, the exact losses may remain unclear for the time being. This operation exposed the risks faced by Ukrainian special forces. Without air support, conducting such missions over the Black Sea is almost a suicidal act for Ukraine, especially considering that the skies over the Black Sea are still dominated by the Russian aerospace forces. If Ukraine cannot effectively counter Russian MiG-31s, Su-35s, and Su-30 SM fighters, any naval raid will face extreme danger. The Ukrainian Defense Intelligence should have learned from the lessons of the Snake Island battle back in May 2022. While Ukraine had a well-thought-out plan, the rapid response and overwhelming air power of the Russian forces led to heavy losses during Ukraine's naval assault. At that time, Ukraine lacked air support and faced issues with tactical coordination. The Willard Sea Force boats manufactured in the United States are high-mobility vessels designed specifically for special forces. These boats are known for their agility and stealth, making them ideal for raids and infiltration missions. Ukraine acquired these boats during the first year of the war, though the exact number remains undisclosed. They played a crucial role in numerous operations, particularly in the Black Sea region, where they were involved in several covert missions. However, detailed records of these operations have not been fully released. The Crim 2 offshore platform, which resembles an oil rig, is generally believed to be located in the Black Sea, either in the eastern or southern parts of Crimea, near Russia. The platform is equipped with communication, reconnaissance, and surveillance capabilities. The Russian military uses it as a sea-based radar station and electronic monitoring center to gather intelligence on maritime and aerial activity. Given its strategic location and significance, Ukraine sees it as a target for destruction. However, why they opted to deploy special forces instead of drones or unmanned boats remains unclear. The Kursk front. Is it really that bad for Ukraine? Since September 8th, Russia has intensified its counteroffensive in Kursk, particularly with the push southward from the pontoon bridge on the Sime River. The media portrays this as a new large-scale Russian offensive. However, a closer look at the current situation reveals that the reality is far from the dire picture painted by the media. Russia continues to send reinforcements southward, relying on this key point. Despite suffering significant losses in both equipment and manpower, they are still able to reinforce their positions south of the Sime River, especially maintaining a foothold southwest of Kurnevo. It's clear that the Ukrainian forces have not effectively targeted the Pimp pontoon bridge in that area, and as long as the Russian troops hold on to this foothold, they will make every effort to use it to push their offensive forward. Clearly, the Ukrainian army and air force still don't have sufficient means to destroy the Russian pontoon bridge on the Sime River. See, breaking the bridge isn't easy, it's usually about sinking it. Even if you manage to sink it by half a meter, they can still drive over it, still get across. So you have to either break it or completely sink it. Otherwise, it's impossible to isolate the Russian forces in the Glishkovo area. At least one pontoon bridge had never been attacked by Ukraine before. It's located about 5 kilometers southwest of Kurnevo. As long as the Russian forces have a foothold, you can be 1,000% certain that they will immediately take advantage of it. The Russian army and airborne troops continue to reinforce the area south of the Sime River. Between September 5th and 8th, the Russian aerospace forces conducted dozens of airstrikes on suspected Ukrainian positions. On September 9th, the Russian 155th Naval Infantry Brigade launched an attack from the southern flank of the 103rd Territorial Demorge, near the Ukrainian border, but was held off by the 103rd. However, the Russian 51st Airborne Regiment then struck the northern flank of the 103rd from a bridgehead southwest of Kurnevo, creating a gap between the 103rd and the 22nd Mechanized Brigade. The goal of the Russian airborne forces was to surround the 103rd Brigade, advancing from both the north and south in coordination with the 155th Naval Infantry Brigade. The specific response of the Ukrainian forces remains unclear, but the 103rd Brigade has faced intense airstrikes, particularly the FP drone operation units, which were destroyed but not entirely wiped out. They were merely forced to retreat towards the border. To the north, Russia's 810th Naval Infantry Brigade has already pushed back Ukraine's 22nd Mechanized Brigade and joined up with several encircled Russian units. As of the evening of the 11th, Ukraine managed to halt this wave of their offensive. The 82nd Air Assault Brigade of Ukraine, further up north, did a decent job. On September 9th or 10th, they used an FIV drone to hit a Beecher 82 armored vehicle belonging to the Russian 810th Naval Infantry Brigade. The map shows that Russian forces are primarily concentrating their offensive on the left flank of Ukrainian forces near the Ukrainian border, without posing a threat to the entire front line. Despite Russian media's exaggerated claims of victory, the reality is that the Russian advances are temporary and face strong Ukrainian resistance, making it difficult to sustain the offensive. Did the Iranian missile show up, or what? On the night of September 9th to 10th, Ukraine launched its latest large-scale drone attack on Russia. Russian officials claimed they shot down 144 attack drones, with about 70 in Bryansk, 20 in Kursk, and another 20 over Moscow. While this seems like a significant achievement, one drone still managed to hit an apartment building in Moscow, killing a 46-year-old woman on the spot and injuring 3 others. What draws even more attention is that all known casualties are from Ramenskoye, leading many military experts to suspect that this attack might be nothing more than a smokescreen. The primary objective could have been to divert Russia's air defense focus, with the real target possibly being a military warehouse located near Ramenskoye. Ramenskoye is located near Zhukovsky International Airport, about 36 kilometers from Moscow city center. During the Cold War, the area was a key base for the Soviet Air Force Flight Research Institute. Reportedly, the target of this attack was a military warehouse storing Iranian-made tactical ballistic missiles, which was allegedly hit by drones, resulting in an explosion. However, whether this is true remains unclear. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Western media frequently report on Iran providing ballistic missiles to Russia, but beneath the surface of the arms deals between Iran and Russia, there are hidden currents at play, making the situation far more complex than it seems. The decision-making process in Tehran is quite complex, which has caused many of Iran's attempts to purchase Russian weapons to fall through. Moreover, both the Revolutionary Guard and Iran's Army, Navy, and Air Force have consistently insisted that any arms deals cannot simply end with delivery. They want the full package of technical documents and infrastructure. Iran wants to ensure not only maintenance capabilities, but also the ability to manufacture spare parts and carry out full-scale overhauls of the weapon systems. But the Russians aren't having it. They flatly refuse to sign such deals with Iran. Naturally, the Revolutionary Guard isn't about to let the Iranian Air Force equip itself with 100 Su-30 fighter. At best, they could buy a few dozen, and only if they come with sufficient long-range air-to-air missiles. Otherwise, they'll be stuck with duds again in a few years. Regarding Iran's ballistic missiles, after 2016, Iran obtained the complete technical documentation from the CCP, and with the CCP's assistance, they established their own production line and maintenance facilities. Therefore, if Iran transfers ballistic missiles to Russia, these are essentially missiles designed by the CCP and manufactured in Iran. For Iran, this kind of technology and weaponry is their last trump card when dealing with Putin. If they were to actually hand over these weapons to Moscow, they could be certain that Putin would never provide them with the Su-35 or any other similar equipment, let alone all the technical documentation required for the maintenance and operation of such systems. This is why some military experts remain skeptical about reports of Iran delivering ballistic missiles to Russia. For Iran, these ballistic missiles are not only strategic assets, but also one of their last bargaining chips in international relations, especially when dealing with allies like Russia. In other words, this matter is far from being conclusive, and we will need to wait for more reliable information and evidence before drawing any final conclusions.